welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hey, hello, my name is Meg and we do crafty things here. So if you like crafty things, please do consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and tuning into another video. All 6,000 plus of you now. That is insane, guys. I honestly never thought I would get past 100. And then after my first couple videos, when I did, I never thought we would get past 200 after letting the channel sit for so long. So thank you for that so much. That's insane. Now, as you guys can see, we're going to be back again with part 4 of our Halloween knotting tutorial because tomorrow is Halloween. So we're 18 rows into our 33 row pattern, so we better get crack-a-lackin'. I'm hoping today we'll get to the bottom of the eyes, obviously done. I'm hoping actually all the way to the bottom of the nose for this part. So that is what our goal is. So let's get boogieing. How is everyone doing? I hope you are doing well. For me here, this week has been really cold, really dark, and really snowy. It snowed all day today, and it's been snowing on and off all week, and it's made the week, because this is like the first big snowfall of the season, it's made this week just feel like it is absolutely dragging. Oh my gosh, I have felt like just so drained this week. So it's been a bit of a struggle to try and get these all out. I wanted to have the whole thing done before Halloween, but it's looking like we're going to have a part uploading today as well as tomorrow. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And then those of you who are kind of over these chatty videos, we'll be moving into some regularly scheduled content with some maybe a knotting dangerously. Maybe we'll do a tutorial, like an actual tutorial. And I have some tip videos and stuff planned. So I'm excited to actually finish this and get through to some other content because I recognize that these are pretty long-winded and they've been consistent one right after the other. So we're almost done. I promise. We're almost done. Anyways, guys, how have things been for you guys? What is the weather doing where you are? I know on the other side of the country where the rest of my family lives in Ontario, they've still been getting some semi-warm weather. They're just slowly migrating into fall weather, and we're like full-blown, like a couple inches of snow on the ground here already. So what is things doing where you are, and how does it affect your Halloween? If you celebrate Halloween, does it affect how you choose your costume or not? Now, always here, I always chose whatever costume, and my mom let us choose whatever costume we wanted. And then you just, if it was really cold out, you wore your snowsuit over it. But some people did the opposite. They wore their snowsuit under it. And some people live somewhere where you don't have to even consider a snowsuit. So how do you let the weather affect your costume? When I got older, not really, because generally you weren't like walking around trick-or-treating. You were going to a party or whatever, so you could like run in the door from the car in your like dress or shorts or whatever, and you'd be fine once you're inside. But when I was younger, definitely you kind of had to think about the weather, and almost every year it snowed on Halloween. And now that I've moved to where I am now, we generally have snow before Halloween now, so that's a thing. Anyways, that's kind of been my week here, just snow and cold and dark. And it's so, I don't know about anyone else, but when you reach that time of year where it is dark when you wake up in the morning and the sun is already coming down when you're leaving work at the end of the day, it's a little bit depressing, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm so excited that it is the weekend. Makes me feel like I'm getting a much needed break, even though it's only going to be like a couple days. And then I'm pretty excited because next week some family has decided they're going to come out, so I'm pretty excited about that. I haven't seen them in a little while, so that's going to be fun, I am sure. Otherwise, yeah, what are you guys being for Halloween? Let me know. Are you going out trick-or-treating? Are you staying home? Are you just going to do like a movie night and watch, all those classic Halloween movies? Nightmare Before Christmas, anyone? Yeah, let me know. What are you guys up to? For me, I'm still not sure. I was invited to a party with a bunch of people from work, but like I have a really crummy immune system. Like I'm not gonna lie, like there's pre-existing health stuff there that contributes to that. So I'm just worried that if I were to go to said party, even though it's people I'm around every single day anyways, I'm afraid I would get sick, and because of everything, I would have to take time off work to make sure that it's not anything serious and I'm not going to get anyone else sick and all that stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to go or not. I still haven't decided. I don't have a costume or anything. So if I do decide to go, I'm going to be making a trip down to Spirit Halloween tomorrow, or Walmart, one of the two, and choosing something quick. But yeah, I haven't really decided yet if I'm going to go or if I'm just going to stay home. And to that same effect, I'm not sure if we're going to take our daughter out. I'm thinking maybe we'll take her out to like a couple friends' houses and that's it, like maybe 2 or 3 houses, because she's really too small to have a bunch of candy anyways, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm not sure. That's kind of where my Halloween plans are sitting. It's not like a big thing here. We carved some pumpkins, roasted some pumpkin seeds. We've already ate through 1 box of Halloween candy. I mean, you know, Halloween's basically celebrated here. Anyways, last time and the time before, we talked about movies, we talked about books, we talked about plants. I have no updates on those fronts. But I do have some updates on the music front because, okay, recently my boyfriend found a cover of a song, and it was a cover of Billie Eilish's Ocean Eyes. And I had never really listened to Billie Eilish, and I'll confess, like, once I got Spotify, and honestly, in the town I'm in, the radio stations aren't great. So once I got Spotify and found Spotify, that kind of became my main source of music. So I'm not necessarily the most on top of like what's popular and what's new and on the radio and stuff. So I hadn't really listened to Billie Eilish, and then I had heard her name being thrown around a lot, and so I thought I would check her out, and I had listened to like one song and I was like, this is kind of weird, and left it at that. And then we were listening to this cover, and I was like, you know, I actually really, really, really like this cover. And it's on Spotify. It's Ocean Eyes, and it's covered by Mike's Covers, I think it is. And it was actually really good. It's like a rock version of the song. So I was like, what does this actually sound like? I tried listening to one song by Billie Eilish, and it was kind of weird. I don't remember what song it was. So anyways, I started listening to Billie Eilish. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit obsessed right now. I'm a little bit obsessed. I'm not going to lie here, folks. Currently, I've been listening to When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Like that entire album, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, for like the last 2 days. And I am currently obsessed with You Should See Me in a Crown. That song is like just badass vibes through the whole thing. And I'm like, I just feeling it. Like, feels like the perfect, I know, like I read on Spotify, the storyline for it was inspired by Moriarty from Sherlock, which I love that TV series too. And Moriarty is, yes, like I can see it. But it reminds me of like, it feels like it should be the theme song for some like super badass character in a book. Like it feels like it should be the theme song of like Kaz Brekker or like Selena Sardothien. Like it feels like it's just got that vibe where you're just like, yes. Or like Loki even, where it's just like bow down to me. And it's a vibe and I'm feeling it. I've been listening to it on repeat for like, I don't even want to say amount of time. I do that. Do you guys do that when you find a song you really like? Like, do you just listen to it on repeat for like days? Like, I do. Like, that's what I do. And the same with albums. Like, when I find an album I like, I listen to it on repeat for like a ridiculously long time. I don't know why. And I can listen to it over and 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 over again. And I think it's because I did music for like so long and stuff. Music really like pulls emotion, and I like how it, like, words and stuff can draw that emotion. So I kind of think I get a little bit obsessed with like experiencing the music and seeing like where it takes you emotionally. So I think that's probably part of why I do that. But does anyone else do that? And why do you think it is that you and or we do that? Just a question. And also, what are your favorite songs by Billie Eilish? Because quite honestly, I've only listened to this album and that cover of Ocean Eyes because I got obsessed with the album and got like trapped in an infinite loop of that album, and I haven't left it yet. I'm not gonna lie, for the last like 3 days I've been listening to it, and it's really great. I have been missing out, so I am quite happy with that. Do you guys have any other music artists you would suggest? I've said it a number of times, like a bajillion times. My like top 3 artists, when you put them in a list and put their names side by side, it sounds like a really bizarre mix, but it's like Eminem, Ed Sheeran. I guess those two aren't bizarre. They've done songs together, but it's like Eminem, Ed Sheeran, and Harry Styles, which seems like such an odd combo. And speaking of Harry Styles, the Golden music video just dropped recently. I don't know. A lot of you guys are into Harry Styles because I know on like my watermelon bracelets and stuff, I always see the comments watermelon bracelet high and watermelon sugar high. So y'all know Harry Styles, and you all are obviously fans of Harry Styles as well. But can we talk about the odd phenomenon that is the comment section on that music video for a second? Because like the music video in itself is a little bit odd. It's mostly Harry Styles running, which I mean, like, okay, cool. It's mostly Harry Styles running and singing the song. Da 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 da. Yeah. And then like the entire comment section is in like Spanish. And I'm not really sure why. I'm kind of confused. I thought that was very interesting. And there's a couple like English comments to that effect where it's like song in English, me, English, me reads comments 100% Spanish. And I'm like, yes, that seems to be accurate. And I'm not sure why. Interesting phenomenon happening there anyways. But what I was going to ask was, do you guys have any other musical suggestions? Some other groups I also like. I really like Marianas Trench. I can be completely honest. I haven't listened to a ton of their stuff recently, just because I've been getting into. Honestly, I've been stuck down a hip hop, rap, Eminem rabbit hole for the better part of a year now. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it anymore. I used to be like, oh yeah, I've been listening to it for like the last week, and it was actually like a month. But no, it's been like a year. So that's kind of awkward. But not just him, it's just I never really listened to a lot of hip hop before, and then I got really, really into Eminem, and then realized like some of the artists he collaborated with and some of his like newer albums, I'm like, oh, they sound really good too. Then I started listening to them, and it's just kind of like a downward spiral into this genre I never really dug deep into. So that's been really fun for me. But as a result, kind of all the music, other genres and music I listen to have kind of gone to the wayside. So I used to listen to Marianas Trench all the time. They're really great. They're a Canadian group, but I think they have started to / do have some traction in like the States. I'm not sure about elsewhere in the world. So if you know who Marianas Trench is and you are elsewhere in the world besides North America, let me know. I'd be interested to know, but they are really good. Who else have I been listening to? I've been listening to a lot of classic rock too, like 80s rock, AC/DC, you know, Aerosmith, Def Leppard, Styx. I literally go to the 80s rock anthem playlist on Spotify, as well as the like 70, I think it's 70s rock hits or 70s rock anthems as well. Both of those playlists are beautiful. And yeah, I think that's that's pretty much the music front. That's where I've been at recently. And just honestly, every now and then I pop into, like, I don't watch a lot of TikTok. I don't have well, I shouldn't say I don't have a TikTok. Like, I have an account that I've watched other stuff on, but I haven't posted anything. And I don't really plan to. I don't think it's really my scene, my jive, my, thing. But some of the music on there is really catchy. And so every now and then I do pop into the viral hits and TikTok playlists on Spotify and pull some new songs. There was a few days straight that I was listening to, I'm mad at Disney, they tricked me, had me wishing on a shooting star. That's been stuck in my head too. Not gonna lie. But yeah, what songs are you guys vibing to right now? Let me know down below so I can build up some new songs in my playlist, because like, your girl's always in need of new music. I love music. I love to listen to music all the time. I love to listen to music probably louder than I should, because I have this thing where I don't like to hear things over music, because I think music should be heard the way it was intended to in the studio, which does not have other sound over top of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear the dishwasher going over top of my music. I want to hear just the music, and I want to hear every little sound and note in it. So I'm like that weird person where it's like, if someone talks or something makes a sound and it distracts me, I have to start the song over. Like, that's just, unless I'm intentionally playing it as background noise. But if I'm actively listening, I'm one of those people who, if something distracting comes up, I have to restart it. Do any of you do that? Or am I just like OCD crazy weird when it comes to music? Let me know in the comments below. I'm probably just OCD crazy weird with music, but I'm okay with that. That just is how I have always been. So that's the thing. What else? Yes. I'm thinking we're definitely going to do Nodding Club. I've been compiling slowly a list of books that I'm going to like throw a poll up, probably on Instagram, for the first one, of just books that I want to read, as well as a couple like suggestions that people have left me in previous videos and stuff. So if you guys are on Instagram and you're watching my stories and stuff, keep your eyes peeled for that if you are interested in the Nodding Club thing. I'm also going to pull a few patterns and we'll do a poll for that, and then probably kick it off. I'll do an announcement within the first week of November, and we'll go till the end of the month, and then we'll do hopefully a live video in like the last weekend of the month or the first weekend of the next month, because that's most likely when I'm going to have time to do a live stream. But we'll see. We're getting way ahead of ourselves. We'll see how it goes to begin with. If no one votes on anything, well, then that will dictate that. Otherwise though, that's exciting. I've got some exciting videos planned for you guys after this, because I know some of you, this just isn't your vibe. Like, it's not my vibe. Like I said in the last video, chatty videos aren't really a thing that I super enjoy watching. So I know some of you are probably over this series, and it's gone on a bit longer than I anticipated it would, but I think we're doing okay here. A lot of you do seem to be enjoying it, and a lot of you seem to be enjoying the chatty nodding. So we're sticking with the chatty kind of theme here. As you can already tell, we're 20 minutes into just chatting. Me chatting. Anyways, yeah, so that's that. But I'm super excited. I'd like to do, I'm probably not going to do a tutorial off the back of this, because yikes. I want to do another moderate with me video, but again, we've had so many chatty videos back to back. I think I'm probably going to do, maybe I will do a tutorial after this. I'm tossed up right now between a tutorial and I want to do a video with some bracelet making tips. So which would you guys prefer to see, a tutorial after the series is done, or some bracelet making tips? Let me know. in the doobly-doo, the down below. Yeah. I feel like I've said a million times. And I know I have. Sitting here, just thinking back on it. I've definitely said that like 1,000 times. Also, like, I noticed that in my last video that I was saying like a lot, and I'm like, I just did it right there. But I'm cringing at myself because I definitely do that sometimes when I don't know what else to say. So that's a fun little factoid. All right, so I had a little snack, had a little drink, came back, thought about what we could chat about next, and you may have noticed something. Speaking about nodding now, you may have noticed I hung out on the left side in that black color change for a while, and you can kind of see it here becoming a little more prominent, and I'm not 100% sure why, but if you look on both the right hand side and the left hand side of this I almost called it a bracelet, but this wall hanging, we're reaching a point now where it's kind of warping up a bit, and the only thing I can think of is that the difference in color changes on the edge is what's causing this, because I've been doing the flat alpha color change through this whole thing. But if you are familiar with the flat alpha color change, then you know when you're one knot away from the edge, like this pattern goes to, whenever you reach that and you're switching into that color, you do a normal color change, and then when you come back you do a flat alpha color change. And I'm wondering if this is what's causing it to warp up a bit. Because as we know from my Knotting Dangerously videos, the flat alpha color change versus the normal color change does affect the size and the like length of your knots a little bit, and I'm wondering if that's what's causing this, because the rest of the bracelet is my lines are pretty straight, but we're starting to see this bowing a little bit on either edge of this. And I try to kind of push these knots around a little bit, but this is kind of the start of, quite honestly, where I'm starting to get a little bit frustrated with this pattern, which is really unfortunate because up until this point it was looking really, really good. So I don't know what's all of a sudden caused it. And that's the only thing I can really think of that may be causing it, and I'm not even 100% sure on that. So if any of you have any ideas, let me know in the comment box. But I think that's what it is. I think it's just that we're switching between different types of color changes on the edge there, and that's affecting the knots in such a way that they're predominantly, with every other knot being maybe slightly smaller than the other one, it's collectively, we've reached a point where now it's collectively shorter than the rest of the row, because the rest of the row is doing a flat alpha color change. I'm not sure though. That's my best guess at what's happening there. And like I said, this is where the start of my frustration really begins, and it's really unfortunate because this is actually the part of the bracelet where we start to get into a lot more color changes, which is fun. It's a fun part. It's what's really going to give this bracelet, or this wall hanging rather, the effect that really is what drives this pattern home. That like dripping, poisonous, like slime, just dangerous effect that really gives us the Halloween poison apple vibe is in these drips and all the like shadow work in here. And it's actually quite a few color changes. Like when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. This is maybe a fun one. And I was actually a little bit surprised, and honestly, because this bowing had started to kind of tip me off, I honestly was getting a little bit irritated with the pattern. So that's kind of unfortunate, because I was really enjoying it to this point. And I still do think it looks good. Like it still looks great right now. If I go out to the table where I'm waiting to knot the last couple rows of this pattern, it does still look good. But me as the knotter while I was doing this was really starting to bug me, and it was really the point where this pattern was frustrating me. And so yeah, I thought that was interesting, and I noticed the color changes and stuff, because there's so many that they just weren't sitting nice and like tight. And I don't know whether that was the color change or whether just my mood, I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it. Maybe it, but I've started to become a little bit not satisfied with the knotting here. And I think it really starts on those edges, because it's affecting the outer row, which then obviously kind of anything that happens in alpha is kind of a ripple effect. So if you have one or two knots that aren't straight, every row after that for at least a handful of rows is also going to be affected by that one or two knots not being straight. That's just the nature of alphas, because you're working in like flat horizontal lines. So that ripple effect, when you have like one knot that's slightly off, it travels down through, if not the rest of your rows, at least a couple rows before you can tame it out of the pattern. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in the knotting process. Like now, sitting here fresh, I haven't worked on it today. I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with it. It looks fine. But in this moment, like I'm sitting here watching this, and in my head, I'm remembering how frustrated I was when I was knotting it, reaching this point here. And we'll notice that I start to manipulate the knots a lot longer. I'm spending a lot more time playing with each individual knot, because I'm not super happy with it, which may sound weird to some of you, because obviously some of you are newer to knotting, or still have difficulties with alphas, or maybe you're just new to alphas and you're like, what the heck are you talking about? But it's always like the small things that you see as the creator that no one else sees that are the most troublesome and like bothersome rather to yourself. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, there's looking at this objectively now that I've like gone to bed and woke up the next day, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it. It looks really good. But I was getting really frustrated at this point in the bracelet, and I was like, I really want to do like take a break from this pattern. And I was like, no, I really want to see it done, and I think it's going to look so good done, and I want to finish the series. I don't want to like start a series and not end it. That's weird. I don't like that. I don't like when I go to other channels and someone's like started a series and never finished it. That drives me nuts. So I don't want to do that. So I'm going to power through it, and then hopefully when I sit down and work on the last few rows of it, I'll be feeling a lot better about it. And like I said, looking at it right now, I think it's starting to look so good. We've got the full left eye in, and we're almost done the right eye, and we've started the nose, and it's really starting to come together. I'm really, really happy with how it's looking. Right now, it's really that drip at the bottom. I thought this pattern would really come together when the eyes were done, and it definitely has come together quite a bit. It definitely looks a lot better than just when we had like the stem and nothing else. But I think the drips are where I'm really going to become obsessed with this pattern and how it turns out. And I think when this is done, I'm going to be really, really happy with it. So I'm still really excited to see how this turns out. But in this moment, I was just at a point of such frustration. I can't even begin to express it. And anyone who's into crafts or detailed crafts, I feel like has experienced this at some point, where you want to keep working on something because you want it done, but you've reached such a point mentally where you're just kind of like, I can't do this anymore, and you need to step away from it. And I feel like that's where I was, but I really, really wanted to power through and enjoy it, but it just wasn't really happening. I wasn't having a good time knotting this. I just kind of was, you know what I mean? Now, I've said it a few times on my channel, and this, not quite, like the very, very end of this, kind of starting now, I'm starting to really come to my final conclusions on the Flat Alpha color change. And you guys know, since day one when Masha released the video that she had like got the information from Claire, Queen of Bracelets, how she does her color changes, and that Flat Alpha color change was introduced. I did knotting dangerously on it to try it for myself and didn't have much success. Then I had a little bit better success with some better string, but overall I'm still not blown away by the technique. So I'm kind of reaching the point where I think I've done enough projects with it that I feel like I should be seeing some kind of result, and I'm just not. Now, that being said, I also know that both Masha and Claire both knot a bit looser than I do. I knot quite tightly, and I'm wondering if that's maybe part of the issue with why the Flat Alpha color change doesn't really seem to make a huge difference to me, other than slow me down, and in a few spots even make my color changes seem not as tight to me. So I think I'm probably going to go back to regular color changes after this project. I think I've kind of come to the conclusion that the Flat Alpha color change is just not for me. Now, I know some people have had some kind of similar experiences with it, but what are your experiences with it? If you've had good luck with it and you have any tips or tricks or things you think I should try before I give up on it completely, then definitely let me know if you've made it this far into the video. But yeah, that's kind of the point I'm reaching. I've only really super successfully done it a couple of times, and I don't know if the end result was really worth the hassle or not. I don't know. I think I'm going to go back. It's been a while now since I've done a bracelet in like a full normal color change. I'll probably do a bracelet in a normal color change and then maybe sit and compare the two and see. I might redo a pattern I've already actually done with the flat alpha technique, like the squirrel bracelet I did. I have it posted in my Etsy, but I also have pictures on Bracelet Book and stuff. I'm thinking maybe I'll do that one because it was a quick one and it's really cute with like a different color background or something, and compare them side by side so I have a very exact kind of a very exact comparison, because now I feel like I've knotted with the flat alpha color technique enough that in my head the regular technique is still more clean for my knotting, but now it's been such a while, I'm not sure if that's just my own biases still or if that's actually the case. So I'd kind of like to compare the exact same pattern side by side, because when you get into a lot of color changes and stuff, that can affect how your color changes look, whether you're doing regular changes or flat alpha changes. Doesn't really matter. Just multiple color changes, moving those strings backwards and forwards, can alter your knots some. So before I totally give up on it, I think I am going to have one more kick. I'll do a regular color change version of a bracelet I've already done, and then decide from there whether it's something I want to keep cracking at or not. Because I feel like I've done, I want to say like 4 or 5, maybe even more bracelets, keychains, wall hangings, etc. in the flat alpha technique, and it's just, I feel like it's not really for me. Also, that being said, I feel like this is the first project I've done in a little while that's been a normal right side up alpha, and I'm also wondering if I would have liked this better as an upside down alpha. I don't know. I feel like that would have looked really cool too. So, have any of you done the upside down technique for a larger wall hanging? I did like that little Rolling Stones one when I first tried it in the first, was it the very first? No, it was the second Knotting Dangerously, I think. I did the upside down technique with the little Rolling Stones hanging, and then I did a like the mountain bracelet upside down, and I did a little like garden gnome as well. I didn't do a video for that one, but I did do that. And those all turned out really, really good. And quite honestly, I feel like I like the look of the upside down alpha technique better than the flat alpha technique. And I feel like the upside down alpha technique, the edges look straighter than, like the ridges aren't as noticeable, and you don't have to do any weird or extra techniques other than move your bass string to a different position than you would knotting right side up like I am here. So I don't know. What do you guys, I kind of feel like I'm a little more drawn to the upside down alpha technique than I am the flat alpha color change, or even, I'm going to be completely honest, I'm even a little more drawn to it than the flat or straight edges technique too. Maybe that's just me. I know a lot of people love the straight edges technique, and I know a lot of people love the flat alpha technique, but the straight edges technique I can kind of get behind. The ridge lines don't really bug me, so I don't use it a ton, but I understand why people like it, and I have used it, and it's definitely useful. I think it definitely is effective and gives you a nice, clean, straight edge. But so far as the flat alpha technique, it's just, I don't know. And I don't like how the color change, the previous color kind of sticks out in the next like knots. That's not something I'm particularly a fan of, but I was hoping it might change the more I did it. I don't know. I'm really in limbo about this, but I feel like I'm kind of closing in on the end of my trial period for this technique. I feel like I've given it a fair stab, and I'm just not seeing the outcome I would really like to see from it. What about you guys? What do you think? What do you think's causing that bowing? I really do think that I'm doing a regular color change, and then when I turn around and come back, it's a flat alpha change, and I think that's probably changing the size of the knots a little bit. and causing that bowing, just because when you look, it's really just the green and the black that are causing that, and the rest of the row is pretty straight. So I think that's what's happening. Okay, now this is actually an exciting row in this pattern because this is the row that we finally finish the right hand, like the viewing down, looking at the right hand side eye in this pattern. And I've said it from the beginning that I thought once we finish the eyes that this would start to look really, really good. And I definitely still agree with that point after seeing what this looks like with the eyes done. And then I realized that the drips at the bottom of this is going to bring even more, like I really do like this pattern. I think it's so cool. The only thing I wish was that I had the Fashion 3 or the string I'm using for my bass strings here in black or like just a dark color. I think that really would have brought it to the next level. I thought about experimenting and trying to dye them with like Sharpie and alcohol, because I've seen people dye fabric and stuff with Sharpie. Do I even talk? Sharpie and alcohol before, but I don't have a lot of Fashion 3 left, so I didn't want to do it all and mess up the string and make it look a wonky color. So I didn't do that, and I'm kind of glad, and at the same time I'm a little bit sad. I think maybe even if it had turned, I feel like it probably would have turned like a purple color, and even if it had turned a purple color, I feel like that maybe would have looked a little bit better than the white. I think the white in the end is what's going to take away from this, and then I feel like if I dip the strings at the end or try to dye the strings at the end, it'll bleed up into the actual wall hanging. So we're definitely stuck with the white strings now. It'll still look good, but I really think dark base strings would have brought this to another level. And I'm still not sure. Because of that, I'm thinking I might not do like the tapestry end that I've done on my other wall hangings, but honestly, I haven't decided yet. So I'll probably decide when I'm actually done whether I'm just going to leave it as straight fringe or whether I'm going to do the tapered end at the bottom and then the fringe then. I don't know. Or maybe I might even experiment and get the fabric glue out and tape the ends up so that they're not really visible, and maybe that'll give this a bit of a better effect. That's something to contemplate. And I would give it more of a flat edge bottom, but I don't know if I like that or not. That might look cool too. I don't know if I want to experiment on this one though, or if I want to save that for maybe the end of a knotting dangerously or something, where I'm already knotting something that I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. It might be a little bit wonky. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll save it for like a knotting dangerously or some kind of experimental video. Also, on the last video, I mentioned maybe trying new crafts, and someone said they would like to see me try punch needle, and like, I want to try punch needle. Yes, friend. Yes, I will do it. I want to try punch needle. There's a girl I follow on Instagram who uses the punch needle, I think technically upside down, because I think the proper way to use the punch needle has like the little loops on top. And she uses it the opposite way and glues the back, and so the front is just embroidery. But I want to try it like both ways and see. But I would definitely be interested in trying punch needle. I have to look into it a little more and see what kind of obviously you need a punch needle, but what kind of fabric is best for it, because we don't have, the only place really here to buy fabric is Walmart, and then the only other place is a store specifically with like quilting stuff, which is cotton. And if I remember correctly from like one video I watched, I think you generally want something more stable than cotton, a little more stiff than cotton, to hold the string better. But I will have to do my research on that and find out, obviously, before I really start into trying that. But I would like to try that too, and one of you said you'd like to see me try it, so I definitely think that would be cool. I'm definitely down for that, so maybe we will see that in the future as well. I have so many ideas for videos. I'm really excited about this upcoming year. I said in the last video, I feel like the end of this year is just going to be a mental reset, and I think it's going to be that way for a lot of people. Like, yes, obviously, you know, life doesn't stop happening, and the life events don't just stop in their tracks because they're like, oh, new year. But I feel like for a lot of people, that's just a time of like, okay, this is a new beginning, and everyone's outlook kind of changes. I feel like the start of every year, you know, everyone's like, you know, this is going to be my year, and it's a mental change. And obviously not everything changes, but just that mental outlook, I think, is going to be healthy for a lot of people. And I feel like I want to go into 2021 with trying not to carry the baggage of 2020 with me. You know that? I know we're still like a good couple months away from the new year, but I feel like I've got a lot of ideas for this channel, and I'm really excited about it. And I think 2021 is going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be a good year, and we're going to shake off all the nasties that happened in 2020 and all the bad juju that's hanging out here. And I think it's going to be a healthy start. That's what I'm looking for. Hopefully you guys feel the same too. What are your thoughts on that? Is anyone already thinking ahead? Like, I kind of feel like the year is over, just because I don't think anything else too crazy. I really shouldn't say that. I'm jinxing the rest of the year as I say that. I'm just thinking like a lot of stuff has already happened. I feel like the year's a write-off. Okay, we're just looking for the start of next year at this point. And that's really what I'm hoping for. I'm really hoping for just a strong start will carry us through. You know that? That's how I feel about this. What do you guys think? Let me know. My year started off, honestly, before all this stuff went down and became huge. Like, my year started off getting my first ticket out here because I was trying to connect. My old car had Bluetooth. The one that got smashed up in the accident had Bluetooth, but it didn't connect properly. Like, it didn't interact with my phone well, and half of the time it didn't work. So I had tried to get the Bluetooth to connect, and it kept saying it was indexing. And then I pulled up to a stoplight, and I did what I shouldn't have done. I pulled my phone out to try and get the Bluetooth function to work so that I wasn't screwing around with my phone. So I waited until I was at the stoplight, but technically they still consider that as driving. So I got a distracted driving ticket for that. And that's totally my fault, and it's totally understandable, because if a light turns green and you're looking at your phone, things can still happen. Or I guess the idea is if someone's coming at you or coming up from behind you, you may have time to react and do something different if you're not looking at your phone. It's just really crummy that, like, I drive with do not disturb on, so I'm not answering text messages or trying to text when I'm driving. It was literally, I was trying to get my hands-free functions to work in my vehicle, and that's what got me the ticket. So that was the start of my 2020, and that was within like the first month of the year. And then it just the year followed suit. So I'm hoping 2021 will be better. We're going to start it new. We're going to start it fresh. We're going to start the positive mindset now, because I think it's going to need that long to get there. And hopefully it doesn't start with any tickets, because now I've got a nice new vehicle and the Bluetooth and my phone cooperate perfectly. Like, if I remote start the car now that there's snow, by the time I've got my daughter clicked into her car seat and I'm getting in the driver's seat, my phone has already connected and already started playing my music. So there should be no distracted driving tickets for me in the future, because finally my stereo and everything works. Which is so refreshing, because that vehicle, I had paid for the upgraded sound system in it, and I was getting so frustrated at the end, because that upgraded sound system, like, it wasn't like I bought an aftermarket one. It was one that you could purchase from the dealer, from Chev, and it's like $3,000 additional dollars, and it sounded good when it worked. But in the last like 2 years I had the vehicle, it was a nightmare trying to connect my phone and get it to play. It got to the point where you'd try the USB, it wouldn't work. You'd try Bluetooth, it wouldn't work. It was getting ridiculous. I was getting more and more frustrated every time I got in my vehicle, and it was kind of a little bit of a blessing in disguise. I think that what happened, and obviously everyone's okay, but it also allowed me to get rid of that vehicle that was causing me a lot of frustration. It was honestly a magnet for being hit by things to begin with. It had a big scrape on the side of it. It had a cracked windshield. The front grille had been smashed in on it. Like, it was a magnet for things, other vehicles and things to hit it. So it wasn't looking good. And honestly, that vehicle itself was an omen. Within 4 days of having it, someone else had hit it. I'm not even joking, guys. I had the vehicle 4 days off the lot. It was like under 50K on the vehicle. I parked it at the grocery store, came out, and someone had hit my vehicle and took off. And then it got scraped in an underground parking. It got backed into when it was parked on the street, and it had a rock crack the windshield. So far, the new vehicle, I've had it almost a month now, and it hasn't been scraped in a grocery store parking lot. So and the stereo is working fabulously. It's already looking better. See, I'm telling you, 2021, we're going to make it happen, guys. We're going to make it happen. Anyways, I've been staring at my ratchet nails this whole video. I do really love this nail polish. It's a Joe Fresh nail polish, and the video doesn't really do it justice, but it's black and it's got these large sparkle pieces in it, and they've got like a duochrome shift to them where they're like an orange yellow that shifts to a green, and it looks really, really cool in person. You can catch a little bit of the effect in the video, but it's not nearly as cool as it is actually in person. But this chipped quite quickly because I've been cleaning and stuff, so I definitely need to maybe remove it or paint my nails a different color before we film anything else, because it's looking a little rough. Looking a smidge rough. I've honestly been thinking about going and getting some more fake nails. I wore fake nails for a little while there, but I wore them back to back to back to back to back, and ended up damaging my nails to the point that they were getting a little bit sensitive, like a little bit owie. They hurt a little bit. So I stopped wearing them for a while, and most of the time I don't. Like a lot of my earlier videos, I painted my nails all the time. But generally speaking, I don't have a lot of time to sit and let my nails dry the way they need to for all of the layers and stuff to not get mucked up and look good. So I don't paint my nails as much as I used to. Like when I started my channel, I used to paint them all the time. But now, and before I had my kid, when I actually had time that I could just sit and do nothing and let them dry, you know, not so much anymore. That's just life though. So I think I want to go get them done. I've never actually had like acrylic or gel fake nails, and I kind of want to try them. I kind of really want to try them, but at the same time I'm afraid I won't like them and then they're going to be really hard to get off. So I don't know. I've only ever had like shellac, like gel nail polish, and I really liked that. But I would really like to see like an actual shaped, cool, like acrylic or gel nail. I think that would be fun and better than fake nails, because I think it would last longer. Because the fake nails, the brand I like used to last me about 2 weeks. And then by the end of 2 weeks, they were starting to look a little janky. And then they changed them and now they're thinner. And I find they only really stay on for about a week, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. At least it's a week of solid wear where your nails like look good. But then generally by the end of the week, because they're much thinner now, I'll like hit one and knock it off, and it'll bend weird because they're more flexy than a lot of the other false nail brands. But yeah, and then I wore normal false nails. They pop off all the time. So I'm thinking I might bite the bullet and actually go get them done. Maybe I'll go this weekend at some point. My boyfriend has the weekend off. Maybe I'll make an appointment and go get my nails done somewhere. There's a concept that works. I was just about to bust into an M&M rhyme. I have a problem. But yeah, maybe I'll do that. That could be fun. There's an idea. Maybe I'll see if anywhere's got openings. I feel like not a lot of people are going to the nail salon right now because of, you know, everything, but I've never been and I haven't had my nails done in a salon in years. Like literally 6 or 7 years. And I would really like to go and not only have them done, but have them like really done with like acrylic nails. Oh, I think that would be so cool. I want to see what they're like. Do you guys get fake nails? Like acrylic gels? Or do you just do like gel polish? Or do you just not even go to the salon at all and you're just like, let me save my money, girl. I'll just buy like a $3 nail polish from the drugstore and that's that. What do you guys do? I still buy a lot of nail polish. I still have a lot of nail polish. I have like a whole box of it, but I find it's harder and harder to find time to stay on top of everything I want to do and not get the nail polish mucked up from doing things while it's still wet. or not fully said, you know? That's kind of how I feel. Yeah. Anyways, I think we are coming. I'm going to finish this as the last row, I think, for this section, because I'm just at this point in knotting. Obviously this is a voiceover, but at this point in the knotting process, I was so over this, and we aren't even into the plethora of drips. I have started filming the next part, obviously, so we can get that up tomorrow and have the whole project done for Halloween. But whew, I'm telling you, we weren't even far in, and I'm thinking maybe looking back on it now, I'm like, my iPad had died, so I wasn't watching anything or really listening to anything. I was basically sitting there just nodding, and I think I was kind of getting bored too, so that may have contributed. Anyways, guys, enough rambling from me. This is where we're going to leave it off. Hopefully you guys like it, and if you did, please do give it a big ol' thumbs up, and until next time, bye.